What's up, guys? It's John with National Sports Entertainment, and I wanted to go into tonight's game as well as recap yesterday. And again, if you're newer to the channel, I just want to go, of course, always thank you for giving my channel a chance, but I want to go over something for anyone that's new. If you've seen my channel, then obviously you know basically what I'm going to go over. We hit around, I would say, since we've started, between 55 and 60% on our picks, which is really good. It's not something that, in my opinion, picking just spreads is easy. But my point is, with the juice, 55, 60% isn't going to cut it. Okay, that's why Vegas is always going to win. The reason I bring this up is, yes, there's times where, for the most part, I think we are usually well over the target, and I think we have, just a good pulse on things, and that's why I think we've hit around 55, 60%. But with juice and all those things not cutting it, that's the reason money management, discipline, and I'm not saying my system, but a system that you can say you've ran for 500 trials, 1,000 trials, 10,000 trials, and it's worked, it's held up. That's why that's so important. That's what Vegas relies on to win. The odds over the long term favoring them. So, why do I bring this up before I go into tonight's games? Because again, yesterday, let's look at our games, okay? We lost the Blazers leg 3, which was our biggest bet, okay? That's 4 units, and in total it's 7 if you add it all, but it's 4 units just on the day that was lost when the Blazers didn't win, okay? And a leg 3 loss, again, leg 1 is a unit, leg 2 is 2, and leg 3 is 4, is obviously, it's the same as losing 3 leg 1s. So you lose a leg 3, even with my system, it's usually not going to be a fun day. This happened to us yesterday, a similar thing yesterday, and I'll go into that. Yesterday we finished 3-5 and profited, and today, or yesterday going in, so 2 days ago would be this, I guess, 2 days, because I always post my stuff at midnight, but this was 2 days ago, 3-5, but because we just picked the games that I thought were the most obvious, for the higher legs, we won. Now here yesterday, I thought the Blazers were the best play, it lost, but just because we did well enough on our leg 2s, so obviously leg 2 is 2 units each, right? So, and we went 3 out of 5, and because we, overall, we did well, you see all the, the leg 1 wins, and because this one here, Sabres beat Devils in particular, hitting that on leg 2, which obviously almost paid 4 units in itself, put us at about 1 to 2 units in the profits yesterday. Like, if anyone played all these, depending on juice, they might got a little bit different here on the plus 175, a little more or less. But my point is, this was a profitable day. And it was because, yes, we lost to leg 3. But for the most part, we did good on leg 2s. Again, we missed the Mavs, but we were able to get the Lakers, we were able to get the Warriors, missed Xavier, and we got the Sabres at almost 2-1 odds. So you'll see I go into the value, I go into why this is so important. It's not a coincidence that we're up 130-something units, and it's like a stock. You'll see we have good days, bad days, but we're able to mitigate the bad days. So here's a day where, just calling a spade, most channels that had these specific picks, right? Like if they had like just Blazers and they had so much on the Blazers, but they didn't have the right understanding of value, which either a lot of these channels do or they just pretend they don't. You're going to be in the negative. It's almost guaranteed. Even if we're hitting 70%, which we did for a long stretch. I mean, there was like a month straight in college where we were just at 70%. But my point is, we need to be over the target and incorporate the discipline here. So here's yesterday. Again, yesterday we only had 3 wins and 5 losses. But since our losses were the 2-unit leg 2, or the wins were the 2-unit leg 2s, because I had more faith in those picks, we had a better day. The night before, we just killed it. It's because we didn't have a leg 3 loss. And we just, when you don't have a leg 3 loss, it's not minus 7 units. It's not closed out yet. And we just, clobbered and went, 80%. So, this isn't to be braggadocious. This is just showing somebody, This is literally, all 151 of my videos is this. So you can see every literal pick in live time. But I show people this so they can see, we can have a good day, a bad day, a day in between. It's not that much of a difference as long as we're playing the odds. So let's get into the games. I like the Hawks. Right here, I like the Hawks to cover. I've been going into why I like the Hawks to continue to the cut when they get spread like this. I just think, people will like the Pacers for the upset value. Again, don't have a ton of games. You have to factor in. That means there's a good chance people might run teasers, right? Just stands to reason. And in their teasers, they're probably going to have almost every game. What's more appealing? Hawks -3 or Pacers +17. I always try and look at that. So I like the Hawks cover there. Next, we got Nets Heat. I like the Heat cover. Again, I said this a little bit ago, and the Nets were actually ahead of some teams when I said this. I really think the Nets are going to not get flipped like crazy, but I do think it doesn't make sense for them to finish up there, Celtics, Sixers, Knicks, all in the top 4. It just wouldn't make sense. Or top 5 even. So I just think they get flipped. The Heat continue to flip them, and I think they win the game and cover. And again, it's another one where I can see people more on the Nets because of the value. Here, I like the Nuggets. I think they want to establish Joker. Obviously he's won 2 MVPs, but everybody knows Giannis is a better player. So I think they want to establish Joker, remind people that the Nuggets are every bit as good as the other teams in the West. I think they know people aren't buying the Nuggets. I don't think anybody has them going to the finals. It'd be funny if they did. It's just I think people know they're not an entertaining team, and you can kind of tell when the NBA is going to put a team in the finals. I just have not got those vibes from the Nuggets. But they have made them look strong in games like this, so I like them to cover. Sixers, Suns, this one's very interesting because I went over the injury report yesterday, and this is just like a small part. So if they're just think about it. Like if they're going to lie about this stuff, why wouldn't they lie about other stuff? But you see they got Harden as doubtful. Then if you just click on the full injury report, he moves, which is fine, And a lot of people might not even do that. They might just look at the basic thing. But you click here, and then he moves from doubtful to day-to-day. And then when you go to the news on them, it changes from outlet to outlet. But what's interesting is they had, Bleacher Report, ESPN, CBS, had Embiid out yesterday. They said he was doubtful. And then their article is after his 46-point game. So I just feel like, and I could be wrong, I just feel like, Embiid's playing. He was listed as maybe not playing yesterday. And the Sixers, obviously they didn't have him, but he had 46 points. I just feel like people are going to be all over the Sixers in this game. They got a healthy lineup, and the Suns didn't look too good with this play. They lost to the Kings, I believe, right? And they blew a lead. So I just think it stands to reason that people aren't going to be hot on the Suns. Have not looked good without Durant, and he's still going to be out for a bit. So I don't know why people would be taking the Suns. When the way Embiid just looked. So I like the Suns a lot here. Jazz, Kings. This one I like the Jazz for the win. Again, I think they're keeping the West condensed. Both sides, East and West. Look at their Jazz 41-31-1. Anytime I see that 3-1, 4-1. Oh, I just noticed that the Jazz can move to 41-31 against the spread. Anytime I see that pie number in any order, I'm telling you, they use that a lot. But anyway, I like the value here. I think people are going to be more on teams like the Pacers, for the value, or maybe just the Nets, getting about plus 240. So I think they're going to be the teams that get pounded more than the Jazz here. The Jazz, they're not considered trash, but they are when Mark Cannon is out. And again, you really can't take anything seriously. But when I looked into their reports, they were ruled out, these guys, Clarkson, Gay, Mark Cannon. And I just find it odd. Fox is out, but the Kings have established themselves as being good without him. So it's a game that the Jazz could use, this win. It would make the West interesting. I did a playoff simulator too, by the way. And just so you know, I still have the Blazers getting in. You might think I'm nuts. And it's not stubbornness. I literally just ran, giving them wins that I think the public's going to fade them on. And it's not even crazy ones. It's not like they're Pacers against the Celtics. It's like the Pacers against the Thunder. or not the Pacers. It's like the Blazers against the Thunder. And I don't think saying the Blazers will beat the Thunder is a stretch. So just doing like my normal simulations, and then you find out that the Wolves and the Lakers and the Thunder, they're playing like the Nuggets twice. They're playing the Clippers, the Suns. They're playing rough schedules. I still got the Blazers getting in. I just wanted to get that in there. But I bring it up because the Jazz, they fit that category. The Jazz, the Pelicans, the Lakers, all these teams, the Wolves, now the Mavericks in that category. And I just think it's going to be to keep these teams very close. So I go with the Jazz here for the win. So it'd be nice to get that money line value. And then I do like the Clips for the cover. Pelicans. I could see, the public on either side. This one looks more like probably going to break even, I think, as far as, the public. Might have some more on the Clips, but 5 points isn't light. So I like the Clips to cover the 5. I just feel like more will be on the Pelicans. And again, I think they want to establish certain teams in the West. Like, you can see teams just pulling away, like Kings, Clippers, Suns. And then you see the teams that are just all losing. And we can have 13 teams technically in the playoff picture. So not to go too much off tangent, I just wanted to get in, why, and when. If the Blazers lose to the Thunder, I'll let you know right now. I will be the first to say, yeah, the Blazers are out. But when I look at like these the matchups in the playoffs, I really do look long term, and that's why for a while I've had the Jazz out. They got a tough schedule, and the Pelicans, they have a pretty tough schedule as well. So it's not just the fact that they don't have the draws; it's the fact that you can only have them like get so many upsets because you're not just going to pay the public out, right? If the Jazz are winning, beat the Kings, beat the Celtics, etc. And that goes for every team. That's why with the Blazers, they got the Kings twice in a row. I think they're going to split those contests because no team, you'll go on runs, but they're not just going to keep paying out a team that they know the public might be on the money line. But of all these games, like I said, I think the Jazz holds a little more value money line wise than the Pacers or the Nets. Pacers, I think, is just way less likely to happen, and the Nets, I think it's a good value, to be quite honest. I mean, a lot of people are probably going to be on the Nets trying to get that value. So I like the Jazz here. And like I said, I think the Clippers cover. Now, the reason I bring up the playoffs now and I'm going into the Blazers and these other teams is this is very interesting, okay? We have the Mavs who are playing the Hornets. They just lost to them. And they're still protesting this loss against the Warriors. It was brought up in my Discord, the plausibility, the possibility of the Mavericks missing the playoffs. And I said, I could see them teasing it, but no, I don't see it. But now that they're like planting these seeds, I am wondering if they might do something as daring as that. Because I don't know why else they'd be protesting this game instead of just getting, this team, they play the Hornets tonight, right? They just got to they control their own fate. They just got to win games they should win with the best players on the planet, and they'll be fine. And instead, they're just so absorbed about this one stupid game where they, at the most, the game. So let's look what happened. If the ref maybe made the wrong call, right, which we don't even know if he did or not, and the Warriors didn't score anyway, and the Mavericks got the ball and those 2 points were shaved, then the game goes to overtime. So it just doesn't make sense that they're reacting the way they are. It's insane. So they all came out in unison, like I said. It's nothing crazy there. They always come out in unison. They're probably talking about it on the Pat Bev show. But my point is, I just think it's all for a reason, and that reason very well might be because they want to do something shocking. Maybe we get the Lakers and the Mavs in the play-in, and the Lakers knock the Mavs out or something, and the Mavs complain it's because of that. I just think it's interesting, the fact to me, it's interesting to keep bringing it up, and to just haphazardly react after all the ridiculous calls like I went over yesterday just made absolutely no sense. So now I'm starting to wonder if the reason they're doing it and doing this active protest is actually because in the playoffs then they might not make it, or if they're going to be a play-in, and if you're a play-in, obviously you don't, you could be out with one loss. I am curious to see if they do something like that and then really try and go after the officiating, saying how they kept Kyrie and Luka out of the playoffs. But we'll see what happens. So anyway, like I said, here's the picks. If you know this part, you know it. Like I said, I always do this at the end. That way, anybody that is new, can watch. But everyone else that has their picks and knows what to do with them. But you can see I have leg 3, leg 2, leg 1, and all we do again. So I like FAU to cover Kansas State, and the reason I don't go crazy into college is, again, it's pretty simple. I pick metrics until I fade certain metrics and pick certain metrics until they are no longer relevant. So right now there's no relevant metrics for me to go off of. Then I use narratives. Not a ton of narratives. I know they got, they're calling, they got Coach Cal came out and called dude from Kansas State, little guy, little kid. And then they got everyone all pissed off. And they're trying to paint him as an underdog. But honestly, again, it sounds goofy. I'm just sticking with my color theory. FAU fits the exact color scheme. They're red, white, and blue. And like I said, those have been the red, whites, the dark blue reds, the Sixers type colors, and then sometimes the black sprinkled in. But it's just very interesting that, San Diego State even won yesterday as well. So I'm not saying it's definitely going to happen, but that's why I like FAU. And if you're wondering why I like UConn for leg 3, it's because I do have them advancing anyway. I think they're kind of planting those seeds. But the real reason is, and I'll show you guys this, I found this very interesting because I felt kind of foolish. So I've been saying for the longest time now how I think, the winning team is going to have predominantly red and white. And, we're thinking of Alabama, Houston, very obvious teams, and all these other teams. But what's weird is I just think of UConn, and I swear they're just a great team. Now, I haven't watched in a while, so sure enough, I'm just checking out. I'm okay, well, what kind of jerseys have they been rocking? And this is what they've been wearing. So this is very interesting. I did not know this was their color scheme. This is not blue or gray. So I don't know if they just started doing it for this tournament, but they've been wearing essentially a black and red or a white. Here they got the black, and then they'll rock the white, where it's mostly white with a little bit of black and red. It's like Blazers colors. It's just very interesting that, and someone can tell me when they started doing this. Maybe it's been a couple years, but I always remember their basketball team having more like this here, where it was all blue and then a little smidge of red or something. But suddenly it's all white and red. So I find that really interesting, and I thought you guys might too, because a lot of people on my Discord will bring up, that's why I like them as a leg 3. And because I think more people are going to be on Zaga, to be honest. But yeah, people bring up to me a lot, I noticed this team wore alternative jerseys or something to that effect. And yeah, I don't think it's a coincidence. So we'll see what happens. I like UConn, though, for that reason. Like I said, I like the Heat to cover the Nets just because I don't think that too many people are going to be on them. Like I said, I just don't see too many people that are going to be slamming the Heat, who have they've underperformed a lot this year. So this is a leg 2. For these, like I said, we've closed basically every sequence, right? So can't close a leg 2 if there's no leg 1. Now we do have a couple leg 1s. So here's one that push. But for the most part, we've closed every open leg 2. So we have a couple open going to leg 3. But I just, want to make sure I get everyone plugged in just so people can see exactly how the system works, if it's your first time seeing the video. And again, if it's redundant, if you've seen the video, see my channel, then I do apologize. Like I said, there's a reason I do this part at the end, because that way you can get all the picks and you don't have to just watch me plug them in. But you can see, every sequence is closed. Whether we want it or not, it's essentially closed because I'm not just opening new sequences. The whole point of the system is to win for every 7 units, for every 3-legger that we lose, right? Which is, we lose leg 1, we lose leg 2, we lose leg 3. For every one that we lose, this one we pushed, so we can run this one again. Perfect. And I actually, like I said, this was a while back. I think I personally won this one, to be honest. So it's kind of, I shouldn't be running it again. But if you did push on it, we're going to do it just because I'm out of leg 1s. But anyway, the goal is if we lose leg 1, leg 2, and leg 3, that's 7 units we lost. So we need to win 7 sequences. And we're winning way more than 7 sequences for every 3-leg loss. That's why we don't just chase. That's why you don't see any leg 5s, leg 6s. We'd be broke. So, like I said, I just like to plug in every time there's a leg 1 that we lose. I like to plug in a leg 2, leg 3. And the goal is to close them out regardless. But preferably we close them out with a win, obviously. So, that's how they all go as far as leg 2s. So, I just wanted to show you. And of course, if there's a game at 5 o'clock like I've gone over before, here's Princeton. I just scrolled all the way to the top and missed Princeton from yesterday. That's funny. All right, and this one was a loss too. All right, so we have 2 open leg 1s, and then dating back to the beginning, the rest are closed. And we got a couple open leg 2s. But anyway, the reason it's so important is because, again, at the beginning of the video I went over it, but that's essentially, it comes down to value. It just comes down to understanding. We've played 1,500 on this channel alone since my first one was shut down, 1,500 plays at least, and nothing has changed. So once you realize that, it's a lot easier to just, it's like we become the house essentially. We're with the house. We don't become the house. They're always the house, but it's almost like we're on the same side as the house. Not that I ever want to be on their side, but like I said, when we're fading the public, when we're just playing the numbers, that's what Vegas does. They play the numbers. They're not, watching the game saying, "Oh, I hope the Jets goes under." They play the numbers knowing they're going to win in the long run. On top of that, they help. I think them and the leagues throw games together and coordinate games to maximize that profit. But at the end of the day, for somebody that's playing, as I went over before, hitting at a 60% clip on spreads is not easy. And to do that and basically say, okay, I'm just in the profit, just, is not very, in my opinion, it's a little foolish. So that's the reason I do the system the way I do. And that's the reason I've been bringing it up lately in videos because, YouTube has just cut us off at the knees between shutting us down, burying us, not showing our thumbnail, whatever. I don't like to complain, but just we have been cut off at the knees. So whenever someone is now coming new to the channel and it's their first time seeing a video, I just assume they haven't seen others because I doubt they're all being recommended. So I just like to go into my system a lot and also go into it because it sometimes it does bear repeating the importance of not just we're doing good, let's double everything we have on this, or we lost a leg 3, let's do 15 units on and I've done leg 4s before. I've gone into chasing and I've explained why usually it's just not beneficial. But yeah, I always like to explain for anyone that might be new. Oh yeah, and as far as the collars, like I said, there's only the 2 games. I'm literally just going with the red, white, and blue theory. I know it's goofy, but I honestly think it stands to reason. So we got 3 leg 3s today, and you can see 1 is hockey. So I don't know why. I noticed usually, hopefully I don't sabotage us, but usually when I just play 1 hockey play by itself, we do really well. I don't know why. So I like the Jets Kings to go over. I think people are going to slam the under. It's as simple as that. So, if that one hits, this whole sequence, Arkansas cover didn't hit. Xavier did not beat Texas. But if Jets go over, that's a +1, netted unit on a 33% sequence. So you can see why over time the system does hold up, so long you stay disciplined and, make sure you can make the plays. There's a lot of people that'll say, well, how can I make all these plays, 10, 20 plays? There's a guy on my Discord, and I'm not sure if he still is. He left. He was doing really good, and I guess he runs his own channel or something. I don't know. So I don't even know if he might not have had the best intentions. But my point is, dude started betting at a dime, so 10 cents, 20 cents, 40 cents, and literally he was able to play all of my plays, and before you know it, he's at $20, $30, $40 because it adds up. So that's what I would advise anybody. If you feel like, oh, well, I can't make all these plays, I'll just pick 3 of them and put them in a parlay. That's where it's really hard to get ahead. The best way to get ahead is just, okay, I'll play all the plays, even if you don't like my exact plays. If you utilize my system, you can still use your plays and, Okay, I'll do 50 cents. Now I'll do $1. Now I'll do $2. And you can make 10 plays at 50 cents for $5. So people saying that they can't make the play, you can. Okay, that's how I did it. I started with 180, ran it up to over 2,000, and that was just on the first channel. And we've made another, since my units usually are 20, 25, over 1,000 on this channel. So it adds up really, really quick. So, and that's just in the net. So for anyone that, is doing even $10 units, you've made out incredibly well. So, and that's why I always go by units. We have to appreciate the value of $1, and that's appreciating the size of a unit here. So again, not to go on too long of a tangent, I just really would rather hammer home the importance of the system, and then a few people might, understand it and use it, versus just a 5-minute video. This is who I like, and then nobody understands the rhyme or reason behind this system, which is going to be very important in like 3 days when baseball season starts. So anyway, we had, again, a good day yesterday considering leg 3 loss. We still finished in the net, and just overall, we just keep climbing. If you watch any any videos consecutively in the playlist, you'll see we don't lose, and we lose, but we just long term we don't lose, which no other channel can claim. And I'm proud that we're growing again, and we've always been growing organically. I just mean since they again cut us off again at the knees, they really did. We've been growing good. The Discord helps a lot, and just people knowing something's up. People knowing these playoffs are weird. A lot of people are just really paying attention now this time of season. March Madness has been obviously pretty entertaining. So yeah, thank you to everybody that's always supported the channel and been positive. And for everyone that's tailing, congratulations. We're going to keep running it up. And when baseball comes around, we're going to kill it. Because as I showed you before, yesterday is another example of the plus 175 Sabres. They won them. We had them on the money line. You can just see how many times hockey has paid us out this year. It's been insane. So baseball is going to be pretty similar with the -1.5. So take care, everybody, and happy earnings.